I just want there to be accountability for once.
A culture of cover-up. Former members of New Life Church in Warsaw speak out only to Wayne 15. The church and its former pastor, John Lowe, made national headlines last month when he told the congregation during a Sunday service he had an affair 20 years ago.
In that viral video, the victim comes forward and tells the church it wasn't just an affair. She says she was 16 at the time. That video opened the door for many other women to come forward. On social media and 215 finds out, they share similar stories of abuse and the church turning a blind eye to bad behavior. In a Wayne 15 digital exclusive, a woman who married into the Lowe family explains why it was so hard to get out.
Almost like a Stockholm syndrome, I feel like, where you just can't get away from your abuser.
Total gaslighting, manipulation. That's how Abby Plummer describes the years she was married to pastors John and Debbie Lowe's middle son.
We were not engaged or anything. We were just dating, and I drove home from college one night and we eloped the next day.
Plummer was 19. She was attending New Life Church and World Outreach in Warsaw, where teens go through a purity promise to abstain from sex until marriage. She and the Lowe son broke that promise. Plummer says she felt such extreme guilt that marrying him was the only option. Then she says there was the abuse.
He got mad and took my laptop and threw the disc and just sliced the skin off my nose. And I was never told to call the police. He choked me on numerous occasions. When our dogs would have accidents, he would rub my face and dog pee in the carpet and threw stuff and knocked candle warmer and then held my face down to clean the wax off the floor and drug me by my hair.
And the affairs. Plummer says she would tell John and Debbie, her parents-in-law, and her pastors, but she says they never took action.
Initially, make it sound like, oh, yes, this is something we need to deal with, but then keep it in-house. And then as things would keep happening, at least in my situation, they would just either not say anything or just be just downplay it so much that the gaslighting we were talking about. But it got to the point where I was I must be something must be wrong with me to think that these things are such a big deal, because nobody in my circle is acting like it is.
In the viral video where the former pastor John Lowe admits to an affair decades ago and the victim says she was only 16 when he had sex with her, the woman says she wanted to come forward sooner.
I tried to tell someone, but all that was done was cover up.
Plummer says she had the same experience.
Just kept happening, and until I finally started telling people outside of that low circle that they were why are you need to get out now. You are not safe, you are not. And nobody ever said that to me. They never looked at me and said, we don't want you guys to get divorced, but we really think this is a safety issue right now. We need to. I was never, of course, never encouraged to call the police for any of the things that he did to me, because, don't want to make the paper for that.
Abby Plummer is just one of several women who reached out to Wayne 15 wanting to share their truth. Wayne 15 digital reporter Jeff Weehe's been working on this story for weeks. And Jeff, these women's stories all really had a common thread.
Yeah, a lot of them. Things happened to these women, abuse happened, and they wanted to come forward, and they felt they couldn't. Or if they did, it was downplayed. It was made to be less serious than it was. And it took them years and years to finally speak out.
And you've been working on this story for weeks. These types of investigations really take a long time.
Yeah, you have to talk to a lot of people. You have to gain their trust. You have to talk to other people who may have seen what happened. And you have to verify and cross-check, reference everything. And that's what we did. This Wayne 15 investigation.
Right. Now, we did reach out to the Lowes several times as well.
Yes, we emailed them, we called them, we went to their front door, where we were approached by their oldest son. He said they will not comment to us about anything. They won't take questions. We left them a letter. Should they change their minds, we're open to that. We will always talk to them if they choose to do so.
Absolutely. And the story is still developing. It's not over yet.
We have another victim. We have her mother. They're both members of the church. They both came forward, their own separate story. The same thing. They wanted to come forward. Everything was made to be less serious than it was. It took them years to come forward.
All right, Jeff, thank you so much for your reporting on all of this. Now, right now on Wayne.com, you can read more on the backstory of how the Lows started the New Life Church in Warsaw. And a former New Life ministry leader shares her story and how she says her daughter was also abused. It's a 15 Finds Out digital exclusive only on Wayne.com. And if you have a story you want to share, email us at 15findsout@wayne.com.